Good to see.
Brother Adam.
How you doing?
What's up, bro?
I'm good.
Oh, man, shit's good.
I love it. You ready?
We here.
Let's go. So, man, listen, first of all, there's so many podcasts out there. I don't even want to attempt to call this a podcast. Right now, we are two people having a conversation.
Okay.
You know, my Scorpio sister invited me out to her crib.
Scorpio brother. We at the studio. We ain't
Exactly.
at the crib. We at the
and
studio.
she said, let's just have a chop up. I'm like, let's do this. You know,
Sure.
it's two Scorpios and a microphone.
For sure.
So first of all, your place looks immaculate. Like, you did a good job. So you showed me a
Appreciate it,
picture of the
brother.
setup on your phone.
Okay.
But when you get here, it's a whole different vibe.
I like
So
that.
I love what you did. Like,
Appreciate it.
you put your skills to work.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Talk that shit, bro. Talk that shit, man. Yeah, it was challenging.
Yeah.
You know, trying to figure out the lighting thing. Everybody who want to enter into the world of podcasting, you got to figure out how to do the setup, how to
Right.
get your light in, what camera
Well,
to
I mean,
use.
let's talk about your skill set for a second. You're an electrician, right?
Okay.
So you can't frown at that. So I'm tough. That helped, right?
That definitely helped.
Yeah, I
That
can tell because
definitely
your
helps.
lighting's A1.
I appreciate it,
Not
brother.
not A2, not
Hey,
A3,
Hey, you
but
keep
A1.
up with the gas, bro.
but A1.
Keep up with the gas, bro. I appreciate that.
Yeah,
Yeah, man. It was fun. So far, it's been fun.
I love it.
Like, look at the setup right now. What you looking at right now?
Yeah,
Shit is
it's
great.
it's official in here.
You know, now I gotta figure out how I get it. You know,
So I think it's always important to kind of give people a backstory, and so I think our backstory is interesting because you don't really set out to like connect with people, right? I feel like at our age, especially, like, well, I'm older than you, so I'm in my 40s, just not quite there yet.
give me a couple more.
Okay,
First of all, I'm not in a rush either.
exactly.
I'm not
no
in
need
no
to be.
rush.
No need to be because it ain't a vibe. I feel like it is, but it ain't. We'll
Right.
talk. We'll touch on that.
Okay.
But yeah, it's like, you know, you have your circle of friends already, I feel like, established, and then you just happen to meet people on that path of life where it's like you just end up vibing and connecting,
Yeah, you're
right? So we work together. Your story's interesting because when you first came into work, you were closed off for a long time.
Facts.
I think it took you about a year and a half to come out your show
Probably.
Or 2 years?
Maybe 2.
before you started to show your personality a little bit.
For sure.
Is that you normal? Is that
Yes.
in any new environment?
Yes.
So is that you like kind of peeping the scene out?
Yes.
Getting a feel for everybody?
It's definitely a scene peep. Because I don't.
Okay.
I've been in. You know, one thing about being a woman. You know, I'm a little. If you haven't noticed, I'm a little masculine.
Yeah.
But I tend to work in most male-dominated industries.
Okay.
But at the end of the day, I'm still a woman,
Yeah.
and I'm still a black woman at that.
Okay.
So a part of my personality that some people, it's hard to explain because I come off strong sometimes.
Yeah.
And if you don't understand my personality, you will take it as if I'm being a little spicy, like
Okay.
a better words. You know, like, ooh, she a little spicy. She
Yeah.
a little ghetto. Or she
Spicy,
might be
like hard to work
loud.
with, spicy, or
Not necessarily hard to work with because I think I'm very easy to work with.
is your
but
definition of spice? Are you just really speaking up when you need to? Is it,
I am a speak up type of person,
but not overbearing?
but not
Because
overbearing.
I don't ever get overbearing vibes
But
from
some
you.
people, over my years of working in the
well,
working industry and working in the
They'll take it as
industry
a-
period, they'll
yeah.
take it as me being maybe combative,
Oh, gotcha.
you know, because I'm speaking up.
Okay.
A lot of jobs where you work with men, they don't want women to speak up and
Hey,
say
talk
how
about
they
it.
feel.
Talk about it.
So that is something that I have learned, you know, just being in the work industry over the past, my adult life, almost 20 years of working,
Yeah.
you know. I've ran into
Have
men
you
that
ever
don't like
had
us.
a gig where it was like mostly women?
Nah, you know what? Probably my first job, working at the movie theater.
How was that for you?
And I got in a lot of trouble.
I'm sure you did.
Yeah.
Talk about it.
I got in a lot of trouble. The cold part about me working at the movie theater was I worked with my partner at the time.
Okay.
You know, she had got hired first,
Yeah.
and then I had got hired next.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I just ran into situations where people kind of would see how we vibe together.
Okay.
And I'm a good vibe. Like, you kick it with me, we a
Are
good
you a
time.
flirt?
I am.
Can you turn it off?
Sometimes.
Oof.
Sometimes.
Okay.
I could turn it off more now because I'm older.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I know how to,
Time and place.
time and place. I had a
Okay.
situation yesterday where I could have ran with it, but I did not run with it because I got a woman. We
Loyal.
cool. I'm
you got
loyal.
you got a beautiful woman. Let's talk about it. You got a beautiful woman.
My baby is gorgeous.
Yeah.
She is really gorgeous. She is the highlight of my life right now. She's
So-
a good girl.
You know, being a Scorpio, we got certain traits that are like, I don't know. They could be rumors. They could be based in facts. But like, I feel like, and maybe it's not all, but I think we're liking, like, you know, people tend to gravitate, or they feel our energy and they like our energy.
True.
So you can't really stop people from coming in or wanting to be in your space.
True.
Yeah. So it's probably a good thing you don't work with a bunch of women anymore.
This is true.
Oh, good.
I don't want to incriminate myself. I was just telling how much I love my woman, and she's the highlight of my life, and I want her to know that.
Amen.
And believe that. You know, baby, I do. I love you.
I love that.
Okay,
yeah. So let's go back real quick. So, all right, you come in. All right, I see. For me, right, I'd already been there a few years. And I see, okay, here's this new black person. Automatically, I'm like, I got to make sure she's good, comfortable, look out for her. But then it was like, yeah, I was like, man, she's really closed off, right? And then you happen to work a project where we started working together more. Mm-hmm. And then it was just like, man, we just started having a conversation. I was like, man, she's just like me almost. Like, so we both had the Compton thing in common. Mm-hmm. Hoop.
Yep.
Right? The Scorpio thing right away, we was like, you can't.
Facts.
And then, yeah, but what I did appreciate about you is, like, although we had a lot of similarities, you provided a perspective, like a fresh perspective for me on, like, a lot of situations where it's like, here's this person, like, I don't always agree with 100%. I'm gonna give you an example. Mm-hmm. But it didn't have to be like combative or contentious where we're arguing. It's like, you just have me looking at things from like a different angle. Mm-hmm. And I always appreciated that about people. An example. Let me give you an example. This is a horrible example, but it's the first one that came to mind. Okay. I don't know if you remember, but this is like, it was a couple years back. My daughter's mom, she needed tires for her car. Okay. And I think it was like around Mother's Day. Remember this? And I was like, man, you know what? She's driving my daughter around. Yeah. You know, I've always been of the mindset, like, I'm going to, no matter what our relationship is, I'm always going to make sure my daughter's mom is good, because whatever's happening to her directly affects my daughter. Absolutely. So I got her the new tires. Yeah. And I think it was me, you, and Miss Fisher, and we was having a conversation about, so what are you getting for Mother's Day? Mm-hmm. It's like, I just bought a set of tires. Like, happy Mother's Day. And you was like, you cannot do that. And I'm like, what are you talking about? That's a gift to me. I mean, that costs some money. Yeah. Yeah. And you was like, nah. And maybe it wasn't a set. It might have just been one tire. I forget what it was. But in my mind, I'm like, listen, I don't think it was a set of tires, brother. Was it one tire? It could have been only one. Maybe it was a set. You would know better than I would. Yeah. But in my mind, I'm like, that's still like a gift. I'm looking out. That's still a gift. You know, looking back now, having that conversation, because I totally forgot about that conversation, I think that will be considered a gift. After the fact? For real? I think. For real? Yeah. You're lying. So I probably put more. I probably put more fight into it, because I think at the time y'all were freshly splitting up from living together. Nah, it had already been a while. From living together? Yeah, it already been a while. Somewhere in there, I feel like she deserved more. Oh, word. So maybe I might backtrack again. Yeah. Somewhere in there, with her being the mother of your child, I feel like she deserved more than a tire. Yeah. You know, because she takes care of your baby day in, day out. Yep. She's safe. She's healthy. And to give your daughter's mom some tires for Mother's Day, that's like, I remember, and I'm gonna take it back. Years ago, Mother's Day. And I've always given horrible gifts. That's just who I am. I don't know what it is. Lies. I don't give good gifts. Hey, I've learned to give better gifts. I'm about to say, we've had conversations, because you spin the bag when it comes time to celebrate people. I will, but sometimes I spin the bag and I still will blow it. So that's when I start to realize the money don't even have nothing to do with it. Yeah. I could still go blow a bag and get you some nice pair of kicks or a purse or a fit, and it still be trash. It still be something that you didn't necessarily want. Like, you know, my partner always tell me all the time, like, you don't pay attention to the things that I want. Like, so like she's like, I send you personal gifts. She like, I send you stuff all year. Are you like missing it? And apparently I am. And one thing about like hints, she's sending you hints all year. Yeah. Oh wow. Okay. And I get, you know, sometimes I don't pay attention. I'm trying to be better with paying attention, and I'm a last minute shopper too. Okay. So when it comes to, I be like, boom, there goes something right there. Grab it. Do you think you're buying things that you would like, or? Yes, okay. I do that too. Gotcha. And I gotta learn. I've been learning that that's not the lane either, because it's something I may like, or I might want to see my partner in, or anybody I'm giving a gift in. I think that'd be dope for them. Yeah. But turns out it may not be
good at all.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
anyway, let me rewind. So
Okay.
one year, years ago, my mom was it was Mother's Day was coming up, and all year she was complaining about, damn, you know, her vacuum was jacking up.
Okay.
Like she needed a vacuum.
Yeah.
Like she kept trying to sweep the carpet with the broom.
Okay.
I'm like, damn, moms need a vacuum. So one year, this is before my grandmother had passed away, and she like, well, what do you want to get my mom? What do you want to get your mom? And I'm like, she always complaining about wanting new pots and a vacuum.
Yeah.
So my grandma, rest in peace, grandma, she was like, all right, cool. She took me somewhere. I forgot. We probably went downtown.
Yeah.
I got my mom a vacuum.
Okay.
And I got her a full set of pots.
Oh, I love it.
I thought that was immaculate.
Right.
My mama hated it.
No.
She hated it.
But needed a vacuum.
But needed the vacuum.
Okay.
It needed the pots.
What did moms want? What is she?
So I'm finally starting to learn my mom's love language.
Okay.
Her love language of gifts is jewelry.
Gotcha.
My mom loves jewelry.
Okay.
And for some reason, it probably just dawned on me till just recently. Like, maybe for her gift, I'm keep blowing it because get her some jewelry. Get her some earrings. Get her a necklace.
Did she use the vacuum?
She hated the vacuum. My mom was so mad at me, bro.
Did she not use the vacuum?
She used the vacuum.
Of course she
She used the vacuum.
Okay.
But she was probably mad at me for like months. She was like, why would you?
She held that against you?
Yeah, she like, well, why would you give me a vacuum? Like for a Mother's Day gift, a vacuum?
Okay.
So I guess in the back of my mind, dealing with that, and then to hear moving forward that somebody is buying
So you projected your trauma onto my situation.
I did. And that's kind of why I backed it out earlier and said, you know what, damn, buying some tires for somebody ain't that bad because tires are expensive.
Yeah.
But if it was only one, and then was it used or brand new?
No, I mean, sure, it was a brand new tire. I don't even know where you buy used tires, but yeah, it was a brand new
So she
tire.
got one
But I mean, listen, I did end up getting her something else, but point being, though, I was like, all right, I don't necessarily agree with Sister C on this one, but I appreciated how, like, you were kind of able to, like, just give me a fresh perspective. And so it's been a lot of that when we're able to, like, kind of sit and have conversations at work, right? Yeah. Let's talk about these similarities with the Scorpio thing. So we always laugh and joke about it, but what are like some traits you feel like you identify with as a Scorpio? And then let me ask you another question, because I think we never talked about this. Do you think the zodiacs are like a real thing? You think like when people describe Scorpio, like you think when people describe it, like you embody what people describe as what Scorpios typically are?
Yes.
Do you really? Okay.
At first, I didn't. You know, to bring my partner up again, she's really into the astrological signs, and one sign means this, but you could be part of this other sign at the same time. So I never really paid attention to it.
You gotta tell her you gotta tell us what's her sign.
She's a Virgo.
Okay.
With Virgo traits.
I don't know what that means, but I'm gonna let you elaborate.
No. She's a Virgo. My Virgo people out there, my Virgo viewers, listeners, y'all know how y'all are.
Okay.
And she fulfills every spot of a Virgo.
Wow, I don't know how they are, so you gotta break this all the way down for me.
I'm not gonna go there right now. We was talking about these Scorpios because that Virgo conversation could probably lead me into trouble.
Okay, let's back out of that one.
Yeah. But they're at the end of the day, they are really, really genuine people. Virgos are genuine.
Okay.
The male Virgos are a bit different, I've learned. I haven't had to deal with many, but I live with two Virgos in my house right now. My partner and my partner's son.
Gotcha.
They're both Virgos, and they're totally two different people. What my partner will say is their moons are different. Okay. She's a Virgo with a different moon.
Gotcha.
She's gonna kill me because I don't remember what her moon sign is or her son's. But yeah, the moon sign thing is another trippy conversation. But being a Scorpio is
like what do you feel some of the traits are that you identify with? Like
temperamental sometimes.
Okay.
You know, we can be a little temperamental. I can be temperamental. 1 minute I could be I could lose it.
Okay.
I probably could lose it.
See, and are these in situations
emotional temper? Exactly.
That's what I was gonna say, because I feel like looking at myself, trying to be introspective, is like I'm calm for the most part, but I feel like your energy is pretty common too.
Mm-hmm. I am calm,
but when it comes to people that you have real personal relationships with,
yes,
is that when that
my emotional temper could take off?
Gotcha.
Because if you could probably hit a nerve that will bother me.
How many people in your life right now you feel could hit that nerve?
Shit, probably just my partner. Or, no, you know what, to be honest, anybody can hit it. If I'm
so?
bothered emotionally,
yeah,
I can't control my emotions. Somebody can affect my emotions in any kind of way, whether it be my work environment, home environment,
Gotcha.
driving in a car.
Yeah.
Emotions can happen at any time in your life.
Yeah.
So when my emotions are triggered, I react.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I feel like that could be a trait that follows Scorpios, that we could be a little emotional.
Okay.
Like sometimes, you know, we could be considered crybabies. We could be considered overbearing and a little too much for some people. I don't think I'm all of those things.
Right.
But I do believe that some of those traits may stand to be a little true.
Do you love hard?
Yeah, I would say so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty genuine. When it come down to love for me, like I'm okay, let me be honest, because somebody gonna see this when they be like, she lying.
Yeah, do not.
I used to hold a thing
cap.
where 2 years, you know, they say people change every 10 years.
Okay.
Like it's a fact. I changed it was a time where I changed every 2 years. Like I could be with somebody, and when I feel that 2-year mark coming up, I will figure out a way to get out of that situation. Was
that change, or is that something different?
I don't know what it was. I was younger at the time.
Okay.
But that was just how I moved. Like I didn't stay with anybody for a long time. I wasn't loyal. I wasn't genuine. Or I wasn't committed to what we had.
Okay.
You know, I just felt like I needed to change. And I need to get on.
Were you
I felt like I was missing out.
Were you been open? Were you vulnerable during those times, or were you closed off?
Like how?
Like so I could admit that like I'm pretty guarded in general, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't typically let people get close in dating or like, you know, romantic situations, you know, until like it reaches a certain point, right? Mm-hmm. So in those 2 years where you're saying like the 2 year, you hit that 2 year mark and you felt like I need to skate.
Yeah.
Were you vulnerable in those relationships? Were you open to being vulnerable in those relationships?
Probably not.
You were
during those times. I was a whore. Oof. That's honest. I'm just gonna be honest. I felt like I did what I needed to do with that person at the time, and I was ready to experience something else.
So you weren't committed in those situations?
I was committed though. Like I gave all in. I think I probably had a crib with every one of them. I probably had a crib with every one of them.
Which cracks me up because it fascinates me how you move like that. It's like the next relationship, let's go ahead and move in together. Let's like merge these lives. Like you go all in ASAP.
Yep. And I'll bone out. Everything is still being there too. You can keep that. You can keep the furniture, the refrigerator, the TV, all that's yours, boo. I'm just gonna take my clothes. Well, you know what? A lot of them didn't let me escape with my clothes.
Okay.
Yeah. A lot of my clothes got destroyed.
I admire that like you're that bold to go all in right away. But that seems strange to me because that's unnatural for me. Like that's opposite of me. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. What do you mean? So how are you?
So I'm like
give me some early on where you were really in a relationship. When was the last time? Okay, let me ask you this. How many times have you been in a serious relationship? How many serious relationships have you had in your adult life?
Can you define serious? Are we
okay? You loved her.
Yeah.
You wanted something serious with her.
Okay.
You saw something in her that possibly made you feel like she was the one.
Oof. Oh, see, okay, that's a complex question.
Okay, wow.
Because
you are really going there right now.
Yeah, just because like
it's a simple question.
I don't know if it is simple. So there are a lot of girls that I saw early on that I saw qualities, like long-term qualities in, but me not necessarily wanting long-term for them. So what makes me complicated is that I feel like people fall into two categories. I feel like there's relationship people, and then there's people that are like comfortable single. Okay. Would you agree or no?
I'll take that.
Okay.
I've never experienced that.
So I've always been more comfortable single. Even when I'm in relationship situations, like I don't necessarily want somebody in my face every day. Okay. I start to feel a little like suffocated and like I need some space. Like ideally, a girl for me would be one that like still very much has an active social life, like has a bunch of friends that she kicks it with. So like I could still get my me time in or hang out with my boys and I know that people like companionship and having someone there all the time. For me, like it almost feels like work. You know what I mean? So serious relationships, definitely college. I was like head over here in love with my college girlfriend. Okay. Thought I was gonna marry her.
Wow.
But I was also
you were gonna marry her. I didn't think it was ever a time I would ever hear you say those words out of your mouth.
Yeah.
Wow.
But you got to understand too, like I was in a much different place at that time.
How old were you at this time?
So college. So this is like early 20s, 21 to like 20. You got to forgive me. I'm bad with numbers now.
That's fair.
And
Early 20s.
Stuff. So like early 20s, right? And so I was very much a different person at that time though too, where it was like I was still very like heavy in the church and thought very traditionally. And so it was like, you know, she was my first everything, first love, first like intimate partner. Yeah. And so in my mind, I'm like,
wait, slow down.
Yeah.
Did you just say your first intimate partner?
Yeah.
In college?
Yeah, I was a very late bloomer.
Let me scoot this mic up.
Very late bloomer.
You mean to tell me you didn't get none until you were in college?
Very late bloomer.
Was this a choice?
This was very much so. Listen, I was, you know, I've grown up very sheltered in the church all the time. Bible study Wednesdays, church Sundays, even all the extracurricular activities at church. Went to private school, you know, still attended church even after high school and going into college. So like I was very conservative and traditional in my thinking. And so, yeah, her being the first, even that for us was kind of like tricky because it was like there was a lot of guilt when we did that.
Okay.
And so that's why in my mind, too, I was like, I need to marry this person because we've crossed this boundary that we shouldn't have crossed. But then after that, though.
Right.
Yeah.
Slow down.
Okay.
You guys felt like you crossed a boundary that you should not have crossed.
Listen, if you grew up in church and you believe everything that you're taught, like, yeah, premarital sex was an absolute no-no.
You know what? I get
an absolute no-no, where it was like, you know, it felt as though like you would like basically punched your ticket to hell. And it wasn't just us feeling like that. Even my friends and stuff at the time that were in church or kind of had a similar perspective on life, they thought the same thing. It was like, oh, that's it. Like, it's over. You punched your ticket to hell.
Wow.
Yeah. So in my mind, I was like, oh, I got a wifer.
Yeah.
Like,
okay.
So one, right? I also had a situation. Here's where I also had a situation in college where do you believe in soulmates? Not really.
Not really.
It's rainbows and unicorns for you?
Yeah.
So I think so I don't know if it's soulmates. I don't know if that is the way you would want to describe it, but I feel like there are people that you're going to come across in your journey of life that you are going to have like just this magnetic connection to.
Absolutely.
That's going to be undeniable. So there was another girl in college that I had that with. Mm-hmm. So this was a tricky one because like we were both in relationships. Mm-hmm. We had this friendship that was just like, it was beautiful. Okay. Like, and we knew there was something there. Mm-hmm. We didn't dare cross that line because we both had a situation. But I can remember when I think it was when I was getting ready to graduate, you know, we sat and had a conversation and she just had like a super vulnerable moment about how she felt about me. Okay. And I was like, yo, I feel the same way about you. Wow. But I didn't know what to do with it because it's like, I know I'm not supposed to feel this. Yeah. But there's this thing we have, chemistry, connection, whatever you want to call it, however you want to label it, and it's undeniable. Yeah. And so like, I'd say she was another one where it's like, yeah, there was more than just like a friendship or romantic. It's like, this is somebody I could see maybe having something long-term with. Mm-hmm. That being said, I've had a few situations where I've dated individuals where I thought like, man, these are going to be spectacular or phenomenal women. They're going to be good women. These are women you could build a life with. And listen, a lot of them I was right about. When I look at like where some of these women are at now, I'm like, I've let some good women go. I've let some solid women go. That part. Like they were doing well. I'm sure their husbands are very happy. They look like they're great mothers. And it's like, okay. Some I was wrong about though too. Some you see and you're like, oh, I dodged a bullet. So just like you were asking about the soulmates. Yeah. Right? So you can have a soulmate, but you can't have a soulmate. So I know that doesn't make sense. Do you believe in soulmates though? Because what was your definition? You said this magnetic force that it's just drove you guys together. Some undeniable like. How many times have you had that magnetic force where you're just drawn to somebody where it's like undeniable, and your adult life, and not even your woman. I'm sorry, not to keep cutting you off. Not your woman, just somebody that y'all have. Not even a partner.
just somebody that you talk to on a regular basis.
Right.
Like a chemistry that you guys have with each other that's magnetic. Like as a friend, like, man, I love talking to my guy.
Yeah.
I love talking to my homegirl because we have this chemistry that's so strong, right? And I feel like that's the thin line between soulmates and just magnetic energy that you have between somebody. Because I feel like you could have that energy with a woman, right? In your case, you see this woman, she's beautiful. The energy feels great, right? But that same energy could lead you down the wrong path because you'll feel this energy with this person and you're like, wow, she's amazing.
Yeah.
And you say you move forward with this person and then you start seeing that energy starting to shift because some of those energy traits that she had that was dope, another part of those energy traits are crazy. Just like as in a friend.
Yeah.
Like me and you, let's say we could chop it up and we have a ton of things in common. Our energy is dope together.
Right.
But we might have some parts where like, ooh, I'm not feeling C.
Yeah.
I'm not feeling brother on that.
Right.
And our energy shifts at that point. So understanding soulmate, I mean, I feel like to be able to title somebody your soulmate, you will almost have to be with them over 20-something years.
Oh, gotcha. Okay, that's fair.
For a long time to really be able to say, like, this was my soulmate.
Well, let me be honest. I don't know if that's a real thing. I always feel like when people throw that phrase around, I'm like, I don't know. Like soulmate could be right up there with rainbows and unicorns. But I think we've all had these amazing connections with individuals at some point in your life. And to your point, though, too, it could be just a friendship, right? Like my friends that are lifelong friends, like these people that I just kind of met in my journey of life that are now like I can't imagine life without them. Maybe that could be a soulmate. Maybe soulmate doesn't have to be romantic. Yeah. You know what I mean? But yeah, no, you make a great point. Like you make a great point. It's again, I appreciate your fresh perspective on things. Like you're always making me think.
Yeah, I mean,
so
I love love.
You love love.
I'm a lover. I am a lover.
Is that a Scorpio trait?
Probably.
Okay.
We tend to stay in long relationships. Okay. But like you said, you bring different perspective into my Scorpio life as well.
Yeah. Because
you're completely opposite in some things. Like I feel like, for example, one of the traits that most Scorpios are known for is being really, sexual.
Yeah.
Right. So having that, majority of us are pretty sexual, but then there's some traits of us that aren't. Right. Okay. So one trait about Scorpios is
have you had a relationship with a Scorpio?
I have. I would never date a Scorpio again in my life.
How was the sex?
Sex was dope.
Spicy.
It was dope.
Spicy. Magnificent.
But then the emotional part of it is what the crazy part.
It gets hard to navigate.
It gets hard to navigate between like, oh my God, you are too much for me.
Right.
And I might be too much for you.
Yeah.
And let me know that I would I dated a Scorpio that her birthday was a day before mine.
Okay.
One that was a day after mine.
Okay.
And then another one that was like 7 days after mine.
Oh man.
Like our birthdays were really close. And some points of it was really dope because I was younger when I dated most of them. One of them was kind of more recent, but the connection of sex was dope. Like, it was a good time.
Talk about it.
With most Scorpios and dealing with Scorpio women, they know certain things. Like even my partner now, she's not a Scorpio, but she knows my traits. Like she's dated someone who was a Scorpio. She got a lot of people around her that's Scorpio, so she understands Scorpio traits.
Gotcha.
Which is crazy, but she does. She knows that shit, and she be like, you flirty. You don't know when to like.
you don't know when to shut it down.
Shut your flirt
down.
Shut that down. And I be feeling like I be being cool with my flirtations, but sometimes it just
comes out.
It's just natural.
Yeah.
I'm a natural flirtatious person. And then
I think that's how we engage with people. Or let me not speak. I hate making generalizations. That's one of my pet peeves. I don't want to generalize all Scorpios, but like I think it's a part of us being able to relate to people is like, so like you, I think I lead with kindness a lot, right? I meet people like I'm always like I'm making a conscious effort to make sure I'm kind to people. And sometimes I think that could be perceived as flirtatious.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
I agree.
And
I agree.
But then we also very aware that like, oh, this kindness is now turned to something a little flirty. Should I pull back or do I stay in this? You know what I mean? Like,
yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
yes. That was the situation I ran into yesterday.
Yeah.
I'm shopping for some cologne.
Right. You've been nice. You've been kind.
The lady comes up to me and she's like, "Oh, which one are you smelling?"
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Oh, I'm smelling this one." She was like, "Oh, let me smell it." I'm like, "Oh, here."
Yeah.
She's like, "Oh, that smells really nice. I bet that smells really nice on you." So she sprays another one on her hand. She was like, "Oh, smell it." And I go to smell it. And I was like,
wait, is this a worker or another shopper?
This is another shopper.
Oh,
she
wow.
just comes up to me.
Yeah.
I'm like, "Oh, that's really nice. That's really nice."
Yeah.
And then she sprays another. She's like, "Well, which one do you think?" And I'm like, "Measy, you got to figure out a way to back out of this." First of all, I'm at the mall with my partner. She's in a whole nother store.
Wow.
Like, it was one of those situations that I could have ran off with it.
Yeah.
And that's how our flirtations go.
Right.
It could lead us into some stuff that we should not be leading into.
1000%.
But it can happen so fast. Because I could have easily been like, "Damn, girl, that one right there, that's the one.
Yeah.
You need to rock with it." And it could have easily, "Oh, you like that
Yeah.
one? Oh, I love that one." Wow. So what are you doing? All right.
One of the things I admire about you going all in, and I feel like people that have the ability to do what you do and don't get a lot of credit for, is that you've been a step parent. That's tough to love someone else's child that's not your own.
Facts.
At least I think it's tough.
Facts.
But you've been able to do that and have like actually a genuine, authentic connection with these children. Like, I have a daughter, and she's my purpose, without a doubt. But she came from me.
Right.
How is it that you're able to connect with these women, but then also like connect with their children like that?
First of all, that's not an easy task. Right?
I don't think it is at all. And I'm gonna let you go off, but that's one of the things for me too, why I'm closed off kind of like right now, because I'm very protective of my daughter and our time together, right? I don't have my daughter every day.
Right.
And I don't feel like our time needs to be shared with someone else. But I'm not convinced that someone else is going to care for my child the way I care for her or her mom cares for her, even in a stepmother type situation, right? Because it's not your own.
Right.
But
so, go ahead,
you give me reason to doubt that.
It should
I have
be.
you. I have other friends that I've seen that are amazing step parents.
Absolutely.
And I'm like, well, maybe they can love someone else's child like it's their own.
Absolutely.
Okay.
One thing for sure is, I'm gonna consider myself a catch. Let's just put it out there like that.
Talk your shit. Talk your shit. Talk your shit.
I'm genuine. Like,
Okay.
I'm genuinely. So anybody I date, like if you have children, I don't date just you. I date your children.
You
too.
understand it's a package deal.
Right.
Okay.
So I've ran into situations where mostly every woman I've ever dated had children.
Well, that's interesting. Okay. So then have you been in situations where you also found it hard to connect with the child?
Yes.
Okay.
My ex had 3 kids. One of them, we were rocky at first. You know what I mean? We were really, really rocky.
Because of the children? Or because of
one, okay. Was I confused with your question?
You were. So did you have an issue connecting with the children, or was it the relationship with the children's father? Like
So both.
Oh, okay.
Both. I had an issue with the children's father in a previous relationship.
Okay.
And a previous one before that, I had an issue with the father. I've had more beefs with fathers than
children.
Than the children.
Gotcha. Okay.
Right?
I can see that.
But
okay.
a lot of fathers who are really active in their kids' life, they tend to fuck with me, or excuse my lack of my language. They tend to deal with me or want to connect with me because they see that I got their best interest for their children. I'm not trying to step in and take the role of you being that child's dad.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I'm here. I'm with your child's mother. I love her.
Yeah.
So therefore, I love her child, and I'm gonna look out for her child. Yes, my guy, come pick up your kid. I'm never stepping on that. I'm never getting in the way of that. You know, I'm never jealous of a father who wants to come and take care of their child. I don't want to take over being that kid's parent.
Right.
It's not my kid. You know what I mean? If I felt like I wanted to take care of a kid, I just have my own kid, and I could boss over my own kid. So I've been in situations where I've had fathers like really hate me. Like 2. I would just say 2.
Okay.
I've had 2. I mean, it went as far as he used to bust out my windows in my car. He slashed my tires.
Oh, wow.
I just got my clothes out the cleaners, and he just completely jacked my life up for like
Word.
a year because I was dating his ex, but it really
So
wasn't about
the children.
It wasn't about the children.
Gotcha.
It was more so me dating his
Right.
ex, and he wanted her back.
Okay.
But the, the person I am, she chose me.
Why you say it like
she
that?
She chose me,
Why
my
you say it
boy.
like that?
She chose me. She
Okay.
chose to be with me.
Yeah.
Now y'all got a kid together. Take care of your kid. I'm not trying to take the place of you taking care of your kid. I've never been that type of person.
Yeah.
I never want that. I don't even want that role. If anything, I want you to take care of your kid. And I'll support you.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? So as a parent, like even right now with my partner, like she go through stuff with her kid, and all I could do is support her.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And back her up however she need me to back her up. Like, I got you.
Right.
I don't never want her kids to feel like I'm trying to be more than. I'm just want to be the support.
Even though you're not trying to be that, and you're not trying to replace anybody, you still show up 100% for these children, though.
Oh,
naturally,
how can I not?
Naturally, I feel like they're gonna regard you or see you as like another parent figure.
I would hope so.
And you embrace that role.
I would hope so. Yeah.
I
want you to be able to call me when you need me.
What do you think a person needs, or what is it the trait that you have that allows you to do that? Do you think most people are built for that?
No.
Okay.
No, I don't think so.
See, and that's what scares me about now having a daughter and bringing someone in. One, I think she's too young right now to even cross that bridge. You know, my daughter's only 8, so I'm really like, and some of my friends get on me about this. I was like, man, look, I feel like I have time to find a person. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like right now, like I'm hyper focused on making sure I'm the best father I could be. Mm-hmm. That's it. You know what I mean?
But what about when she finds someone?
Then cool.
When she finds a partner?
Then
and
cool. Then cool.
Are you okay?
Then I'll be ready to like move on and do my thing. You know what I mean?
Are you okay with another man stepping up and being your daughter's stepfather?
Oh, you mean if her mom were to date someone?
Yes. Yes. Honest.
No, 100% I am, but obviously character is super important in those situations.
You don't have control over it.
I don't have control, but the one thing I would hope, because I know people that are in these situations where they're step parents, is that, hey, if you vetted this person and decided this is someone you want to now bring around our child, right? Mm-hmm. Speaking for me and her mom, I would hope that like my opinion matters in that situation, even though I know it ultimately may not. Mm-hmm. But it's like, if there's someone that comes around and I get a bad read or a bad vibe, because I feel like a part of my personality has been an empath, right? I'm for better or for worse, like I feel like I'm able to kind of read people's emotions or feel what people are feeling. Mm-hmm. And if I get a bad read from a person, I'm like, hey, this guy seems a little shaky to me. Mm-hmm. I would hope that would matter. More importantly, if my daughter feels that way about a man, I'm probably gonna go above and beyond to make sure he's not in the picture. My daughter, it's one thing if I feel it, but if my daughter comes to me and says, hey, I'm not comfortable with this person, we're gonna have problems.
Absolutely.
It needs to be addressed.
Yes.
Because kids know.
Facts.
Kids know.
That's what I say all the time.
Kids know, like they get something. And women have intuition, which I 100% believe in too. And I feel like women know, but kids for sure. If an adult walks into a room and a kid, something changes, their posture, or they like, or they come to you as an adult that they trust and say, hey, I don't really like him.
Yep.
Something's wrong.
That's facts.
Because kids just don't do that.
That's facts.
Yeah.
That's fact. I completely agree with that. Yeah. And that's kind of something I've spoke on before, just in my own personal situations, and, you know, being with another woman and having children involved. You know, the concern is, how does my kid feel about me being in this type of relationship? Is my kid even comfortable with you? Is my kid, does my kid like you? And that's kind of something I learned about raising children over the years. Like, you know, I've raised children. The oldest is 25 now.
That's crazy.
You know what I mean? So I've raised kids, and a lot of them, to be able to see kind of how they react to me. And one thing I have figured out is that your kid will let you know if they not messing with me, period. Gotcha. Trust me. Yeah. You would know. If your kid wasn't feeling me, your kid will know.
Tell you.
He will tell you. It don't even matter if he's shy or she's shy or timid. Something about me when I walk in a room, my aura, my presence, your kid will automatically feel it like, I don't really like this.
So
and you'll know it.
Going back to what you said about like you feel like most people can't do that, can't be a step parent or can't connect with other people's children. Well, why is that hard, or why do you think they can't do that? Or why is it rare?
Some people are selfish.
1,000%.
Some people are. It just comes down to selfish.
You need to be selfless to raise children.
Absolutely.
That's the one thing that I feel is a trait that every person needs to possess. If you're a good parent, that requires a lot of selflessness.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's really what it comes down to.
Yeah.
I mean, you're selfish, and you could tell, like, if you date a woman, right, and she got kids, and all you want is that woman's attention, like 24/7, like almost fuck her kid, or excuse me, you have regard for her children. Like, dude, she got kids.
Right.
Like, you can't just
dismiss them.
You cannot dismiss the fact that she got kids.
Right.
So you have to figure out a way to maneuver around spending time with her, spending time with the kid, y'all spending time together.
And also recognizing you're going to have to include them at some point.
Yeah.
If this is somebody that you want to build with or stay with.
And to be honest, I'm going to be a straight 100. That's probably why I don't want kids.
Really?
Because I am selfish with my time. I swear.
But you've been an amazing step parent.
I am.
From the outside looking in.
No, I am, because one thing, there's so many beautiful women out here. You know what I mean? And oh my gosh, like, most of the beautiful women have children. I mean, why wouldn't they? If I had the opportunity to knock up some beautiful women out here, I would. Everything I would. Hey.
All right.
But, and it just come with the territory. So it was a lot of learning in that process. So luckily, like, now I'm with my partner. Now we've been together almost about 4 years. And luckily, I've had previous relationships where I've had multiple children. A woman had multiple children. Racer before that, we had children.
Right.
Like, I dealt with children for a long time. So I understand what needs to take place to be able to raise a kid, and we could all be happy together too.
Nice.
One thing about my partner now, she makes sure her kid is like lit in every situation. It ain't really too much I have to do.
Yeah.
She already got it lined up. Like, I don't have to do nothing.
So you're just like another component of the support system.
I'm just a perfect wording.
Yeah.
I just go with the flow.
Okay.
I just go, and she say we going here, when we going.
I like that. So staying on selflessness, I think one of the things that we related on was caretaking. So this is a topic, like I said, beforehand, I was like, man, we should chop it up about that, because I feel like we've both had like a unique experience where you were having to caretake for a parent.
Yeah.
And there's people that have been there, because I think that's a part of like the journey and maturation of life, is that at some point, everybody's parents do get older and do get to a point where like they need to be cared for. But it's different when you are the main caretaker. That experience is unlike any other. And having a brief conversation we did about it, I was like, oh, C can relate to this. She's been through this. Some of the things you said resonated, because I had experienced that myself with my mom. And so selflessness, going back to that, is needed when you're raising children. Selflessness is also needed when you're caring for a parent.
Absolutely.
And it's a struggle.
It is.
But it's one of these conversations I feel like people should be having, but we don't necessarily prepare our kids for that. So when you think about the circle of life, our families, our parents have raised us from when we were very needy, right? Because when a kid is a baby, when they get older and older, they need us, but they start to need us less.
Yeah.
But then all of a sudden the parent gets old, and as they get older and older, they start to need their children more.
Absolutely.
And there's conversations I think families should be having in terms of, hey, when mom and dad gets to a point where they're no longer could be independent, how are we going to handle this? Who's going to take care of who? Are we going to place them in a nursing home? Are we going to take them into our house? Are we going to share these responsibilities with each other? In my situation, I am one of 2 siblings, right? So just me and my sister. In your situation, I couldn't remember. Do you have siblings?
Yes, I have a sibling. He's not even an adult yet.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, he's not even an adult yet.
In my situation, I am the responsible one.
Yeah, me too.
So when you are the responsible one, a lot of the responsibility, burden, I hate the word burden because I think it comes with negative connotation.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think you should ever consider a family member or a loved one a burden, especially if they were good to you. So in my situation, I had a amazing mom.
Dope.
When I say that, see, and I swear to you, Sister C, there was never a time in my life I could think of when I needed my mom and she didn't show up for me.
Dope.
Or she wasn't available.
That's dope.
So then when she needed me, how would I not show up for her? Right? But because I'm the responsible one, it was just on me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that gets hard.
Yeah.
And there's times where you feel overwhelmed. There's times where it's like, man, I don't know if I could do this. You start to have conversations about nursing homes and facilities.
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't know if that's right.
Yeah.
Because it's like, here's the thing that trips me out when I look at this situation objectively is like, I have a child now. If something were to happen to my child where she needed more care or say she had an accident or something where she was completely dependent, I don't even think I could broach the conversation about putting my daughter in a facility.
Right. You couldn't.
But we do that with our elders. And it's common, especially in our society, Western culture.
Yep.
U.S., they love nursing home. It's a big business. Family members will discard their elders. Talk to me about, if you, okay, Sharon, your father's situation. You've been a caretaker. And like, again, you mentioned it, your selflessness with other people's children. The challenges with being selfless with your father and being a caretaker for him. And how do you maintain?
Man, that's just different, you know. That even come a part of having that conversation of us being emotional, Scorpios having that emotional trait, because seeing my dad go through that, that's something I would have never imagined.
Right.
You know, I've never would have imagined him going through something that way, because he's always carried. My dad is like a really self-driven. He's an entrepreneur. He's a hustler. Just everything about him has always been getting to the bread, especially.
Okay.
You know what? You know, so to see him down the way he is, and he's completely down. He has MS, multiple sclerosis, and it's terminal. So it's completely shut his body down, like completely. He can't walk no more. He's paralyzed from his legs down, from down there his neck down. I mean, but he still have movement in his arms, you know. But that's almost coming to a point where that's coming to an end. And now he's starting to experience where he's getting all these illnesses from diabetes, and the weight just is caking up on him now because he's sitting in the bed. He got to deal with bed sores now. He has to be rotated. He has to have a machine on his legs to completely, you know, circulate his blood all the time. So me seeing him like that is really difficult. So I'm the type, sometimes when stuff hit the fan, I kind of shy away from it. You know, like I almost avoid it. Like I try to I'm almost put a wall up, like I don't even want to see it.
Really?
That's just a trait that I have. I don't know where I got it from.
It's hard to see.
Yeah, it's
hard,
very difficult.
Right. And so it's tough because I've been through that. Everything you described that your dad is experiencing, my mom did. It wasn't MS, but she had a very extreme case of rheumatoid arthritis, and it basically paralyzed her in the end. She was bedridden, and it was hard to see her like that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's difficult.
That is tough.
But you have to show up, though.
It's hard.
Okay.
It's hard. That's hard. I mean, when it's time for me to show up, I show up.
Okay.
You know what? Luckily, right now, I got a family member who has stepped up in ways that I couldn't even imagine. And it was so with her stepping up, it gave me the opportunity to be like, whew.
To breathe. Oh, I know what that feeling's like.
I could just, like, I literally just, like, I have taken the load off completely, like, you know.
I know what
and it's
that
almost like
feeling's
I place all the burden on her.
Yeah.
You know, and I feel bad for it. But then again, I don't feel bad for it. Because I know that load that I put on you is only going to be temporary.
Yeah.
You know, it's only a temporary load because.
Is this, and not to get too personal, is she being compensated for this? Or is
yeah.
she just, okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
I mean, she get compensated based off of, you know, what's that, home care system and stuff like that. And then he pays his own little portion that he has to pay her.
That's a little different.
I mean, she probably could get paid more for it.
Gotcha.
you know, I know she's not completely for free.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's taken away from her time.
Yeah.
If she wants to vacate, if she wants to spend time and not have to do the burden, I get it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I get it. Because when it first hit the fan, like most people don't know, I was there 24/7. Sometimes I have to remind my dad, like, yo, every time you went through something in your life, from the moment this happened, I have stepped up in so many ways you won't even believe. From him moving into my house, and I didn't even have room for him to move into my house.
Yeah.
But hey, we gonna make room for you, and we gonna put you there, and everything. I have always stepped up and been there. So, you know, right now he's in a situation where I literally, his last, what is it called? It's called a episode.
Yeah.
His last episode really did him in bad. I think this was like a 2019-ish, somewhere like that. It did him bad, right? It was probably the worst of his MS.
So when you say episodes, because I think about my mom, we had moments where like either she like took a fall or there was just a setback in her health where she never really recovered. It was just like,
that's it.
Okay.
That's exactly what it is.
You hit this point, and now this is something else that we're going to have to deal with.
Yeah. Correct. That's exactly what it is.
Gotcha.
So it was a point in time my dad was able to kind of shuffle and trot to get to like maybe the restroom or something like that. That's over. Can't do that no more.
Right.
Now we have to make arrangements how we going to move forward with you being in this situation now. Not to put too much of him out there like that, but yeah.
No, but I get it. So my mom, she ended up transitioning from being able to walk on her own to using a walker to a wheelchair to eventually being bedridden.
Yep.
I can vividly remember having a conversation with her rheumatoid doctor, and I used to take her to her appointments, and the doctor pulled me aside at one of her doctor's appointments. She was like, I don't know how much you and your family have read up or looked into or researched, you know, this condition, but your mom's going to get progressively worse, and she'll eventually pass on from this. I was like, damn, okay.
Yeah.
She's like, I need you to understand, like what you should expect. Like, she's using this walker right now, but eventually your mom's going to be in a wheelchair. From that wheelchair, she's going to be bedridden. From there, there's going to be all these other elements that are going to come. And eventually, like, you know, she's going to pass on. When I had that conversation in my head, I was like, that's crazy. Like,
that is.
And then everything she said, you see it play out. Right. Over like a period of years. Right. I think it was like 8 years she had been battling with this. And you just, so when you talk about those episodes, like, it resonates because it's like, man, I remember that. It's like, now here's this new thing we have to deal with. Fortunately, my mother had her finances in order, and that helped a lot because we were able to bring in caretakers. We had nurses that were inside the house. My mom did not want to be at a facility. Even though there was moments where we had discussions about doing a facility because of the amount of care that she needed. I'm thankful that we didn't, because I get why she didn't want to be in some strange place. No one would, right?
Absolutely.
If me and you got sick, I don't want to be in a strange place.
My dad hates it. Every time he has to go.
Right. I want to be in a house around loved ones, around people I know, around something that feels like home. I don't want to be here already feeling bad and sick, and now I'm around a bunch of strangers.
I don't even know.
Exactly. Support in those situations. Should it be expected from family? And when the support doesn't show up in the way you think it should, you still obviously gotta pick up the ball and keep running.
So I think.
So how do you feel about? Because there was moments for me where like I feel jaded because I'm like, man, they're calling to check in, but no one's helping. But let me share this because listen, I can't ignore the people that did help. There were a lot of people that showed up when I needed them. A lot of my friends, when I just needed to vent, you know, there was people I could pick up the phone and just call and like kind of say, hey, like, this is what I'm going through. I'm feeling this pressure. I'm feeling this weight, feeling overwhelmed. They were there for me. There are people that just definitely helped out. You know, my oldest niece, Eliza, showed up when I needed her. I had a couple cousins. My daughter's mom actually helped because obviously, like, we're raising a child together. So there was times where it's like, hey, I can't be available because I need to be present for my mom. She was like, do what you need to do. You know what I mean? Like, those things mattered at the time. My God, Mom, when I tell you an angel sent from heaven, my godmother, Renee, she came in at a time where it was like, it was getting near the end, and I don't know if she saw it in my face when she came by, or if this is just the type of person that she is. So there's one thing in that situation where you need help, and family and loved ones tell you, hey, if there's anything that you need, hit me up. I'm there for you. I appreciate that. Don't get me wrong. Like, those things matter. Mm-hmm. Instead of saying, hey, if you need anything, call me, reach out, I'll be there. Mm-hmm. She just did things without asking. Mm-hmm. You don't need to call me or come looking for me. Here's what I'm going to start doing. Mm-hmm. So I take this off of your plate. Mm-hmm. You don't have to look for me or call because I'm going to be here.
Mm-hmm. Dime in a dozen.
Listen, when I tell you that,
dime in a dozen.
When that mattered, the pressure that I felt come off of me was crazy.
Dime in a dozen.
This wasn't, hey, I need compensation for this, right? Mm-hmm. This is like, I've known your mom my whole life, pretty much. She's my friend. Mm-hmm. Like, I didn't know she needed this much help. Mm-hmm. She was almost mad that I didn't tell her earlier, even though she kind of knew. Mm-hmm. But she's like, you don't have to worry about, like, needing help or coming. I'm going to be here.
Absolutely.
And she showed up, and when I needed it most.
When my dad was going through what he was going through during that time, it was just really me and him. Okay. My mom and my dad haven't had a relationship since I've been born. Okay. So my mom doesn't play a factor in what's going on with my father.
Gotcha.
So the last episode that I was speaking about earlier took him out bad. Okay. And I really, really needed help because at the time I was living in Mobile, and my dad was close to me in Mobile. Okay. Right? But at this time, I had just got hired at where we met at my new job. Okay. Right? And you know our schedule.
Right. It's crazy.
Our schedule can be crazy. It's a challenging schedule. And during that, me getting hired, I'm almost on like a internship almost.
Yeah, you're on probation for like a year.
Even longer.
Can't drop the ball.
Let's not even say probation for a year because I still have all that training I had to do.
You got to pass all these tests along the way.
So that was 3.5 years and me focusing on learning each area that I had to work in, right? So I had to focus and I had to take it serious. Right. Now looking back at it, I feel like it's some areas I could have been more lenient on, but who wants to gamble that when they get a job that's fucking great, I'm getting good money, I'm getting good benefits, and this was going to help take care of me and my family. Right.
And take care of your dad.
And take care of my dad, potentially, which will about to happen now. Right. Oh, wow. Shout out Mitch. Yeah. Love you, Mitch. I appreciate everything you're doing for my dad.
Is it Midge or Mitch?
Mitch.
Mitch. I want to make sure I shout her out.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. Shout out Mitch. I appreciate you, love. But Shelly, when she found out that my dad was going through what he was going through, she stepped up. Yeah. She stepped up. She was coming down there. Mind you, we were in Moreno Valley. She lived down there in La Mirada. Wow. She was coming up there, making sure that everything was straight. Wow. She was checking in with me. She like, what you gonna do? I'm like, I don't even know. I don't know. And that's why this conversation is so important because we don't prepare for this. Black people don't prepare for this at all. Okay. You know, we are prepared to live life, don't jack up your credit, build your life, buy you a house, and you good. Your parents don't prepare you for their demise. They don't. I think that's a problem. Well, some don't. Some may do and some don't. Right. I wasn't educated on that at all. You know, like you said, your mom had put all her finances in order, so she made sure she was well taken care of. And me going through this with my dad and me not having any children has put me in a situation where I have to prepare for this now too, because I have to prepare who's going to take care of me. I can't depend on my partner to say, hey, I got you, I'm going to take care of you. We just seen in the articles just recently, one of these rich cats, he divorced his wife because she got dementia. I don't know the full story of that, but he said, yo, I'm out. They could have pre-talked about it. I don't know the story, so I'm not going to judge false news. Yeah. I'm not going to give up false news, but you just don't know. And it's not his responsibility to make sure she's straight. It's her responsibility to make sure she's straight. Okay. And so I speak for myself right now to make sure, with me not having no children, me making that decision to say, I'm not going to have any kids. So, okay. And you can't, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead, please.
You automatically can't put that off on your kids to say, hey, I'm gonna take care of you.
Listen, that's what I want to talk about. Let's
you
talk
can't
about,
put that on your kids.
Let's talk about accountability, right? And expectations. You are accountable for your health.
Absolutely.
There are circumstances with both our parents where they didn't do anything to jeopardize their health. They just, unfortunately, got like struck with these illnesses, right?
Mm-hmm.
But that's something that I'm very like mindful of now, where it's like I need to take care of my health. There's two things. One, I had heard this guy talking before, and he said there's two things that you need to make sure that you are diligent about taking care of as you begin to age. One is your finances, the other is your fitness. Here's why. If one of those were to go, at least you have the other one. Meaning, if you weren't fit, if you weren't healthy physically, at least you have finances to take care of your ailments.
Got it.
Like my mom was a perfect example of that.
Got it.
If your finances aren't in order, but you're healthy physically, your fitness is fit,
yeah,
into those later ages,
yeah,
you could still get up and go to work.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Oh, yeah.
So
Absolutely.
it's like one of them you could drop the ball on, but you can't drop the ball on both. Because then you're asked out,
screwed,
or you're relying on other people to like look after you.
Right.
There's no guarantee that that's going to happen.
Right.
So now, as a parent or somebody that has family members and loved ones, how much responsibility or accountability should you take on making sure that like you're healthy long term? Like you said in your situation that you don't have children, right? You do have your partner, but that's not something you want to put on a partner.
Absolutely not.
And here's one of the things that I'm always like a little little cringy or hesitant on when it comes to like lifetime partnerships, marriages, is like, man, everybody loves when everything's sunshine and rainbows.
Absolutely.
You take these vows for better or for worse. Everybody loves the for better part. The for worse part is where it gets challenging.
That's the real part.
That's where it's like,
that's the real
were
part.
you really about this or were you not?
I literally was just having this conversation, bro.
Listen, I had a conversation with my boys one night about that. It's like, hey, if your significant other gets into an accident where you need to now be their caretaker full time, they can't do anything on their own. Are you ready to do that?
Absolutely.
One of my boys was like, no.
You shouldn't have got married.
And he was all very honest with his partner about that. We've talked about this already.
Shouldn't get married.
He said, if it happens to me, I already told her, put me in a facility and go live your life. Okay. I don't want you to have to change my diapers and feed me.
That's fair.
And he said, but I'm gonna do the same if it's you. If you're the one that has an accident, and I need to if I need to change your diaper and feed you, like,
that's fair.
I'm not built to do that. I'm gonna set you up in a facility, make sure you're good, but like, I'm gonna go live my life. I don't have the capacity to do that.
That's fair.
And
that's fair.
I appreciated that honesty.
That's fair. No, I completely. I spoke too soon.
Yeah,
I spoke too soon. I agree to that.
Yeah,
I feel like that's I literally, me and my girl was just talking about this. Just literally, is that people get married on the pretense of love, like, oh, love.
Everything's
you.
great right now.
Everything is great.
I
love
issues.
You.
Yeah,
right. But at the end of the day, it's not really about that. It's about rather if I'm gonna hold you down at your lowest. Am I gonna hold you down at your lowest? Can I trust you to hold me down at my lowest?
Yeah.
Can you trust me to hold you down at your lowest?
Yeah.
That's what I expect out of a marriage. And when I marry anybody, that's what I expect out of it. Not the gushy part, not the lovey part, not that you can't satisfy me sexually, romantically, all that good stuff that come along with it. I want to know that I could trust you to be there for me at the lowest. And that's something I dealt with as I'm getting older. I was with somebody over 12-something years. And once I started to realize that this person wouldn't support me at my lowest, it's when I was ready to bail. And that's unfortunately the truth.
Right.
I started to see, like, damn, when I'm at my lowest, I can't depend on you to be there. I'm sure right now she'd probably say that's not true, but I saw things that you've done that letting me know that you would not support me at my lowest. Yeah. Like, and that's just what it is. That's how I'm cut. Like, I need to be able to see that when I'm down bad, like right now, I'm down, I'm up good.
Yeah. So it's easy. It's easy to be with you right now.
Yeah, it's easy. I'm up good.
I come with no baggage. Yeah.
I don't have no kids.
Right.
I don't have no drama.
Right.
I make good money.
Right.
I make sure we straight. Like, we live a good life.
Yeah.
But it might be a time where who knows what could happen. Who knows?
And
I was in a bad car accident over a year ago.
Yeah.
And thank God I was able to walk away from that.
Right.
I was in a car accident just maybe a month ago. And thank God that I was able to walk away from that.
For sure.
But though both those situations put me in my mindset like, damn, at any moment,
things could change.
Things could change.
Yeah.
Things could be taken away from me. I need to feel like that my partner is going to be like, don't even trip.
Okay. So your partner's one thing. Going back to the children and the parents, right? Mm-hmm. What should be the expectation?
I think it's hard to put expectations on anything out of anybody.
So this is a triggering conversation for me because we are the responsible children, right? And so I used to feel the type of way where, like, I had friends or people that I knew that had parents in similar situations, and it's like, well, I'm allowing my sibling to do all the work because, you know, they're available to do it or don't have much going on. In my head, I used to be like,
yeah.
Like, especially if you had a good parent. If your parent was there for you when you were younger, like, you need to show up. But then having that conversation with my guy, I felt like, man, he has a point. He's very honest about what his capabilities are, what his capacity is.
Absolutely.
I'm not built to be a caretaker.
Right.
And I feel like most people aren't.
Right.
If that's the case, families need to sit down and start having conversations.
That's true.
Partners need to sit down and start having conversations. We in Tulum, we had a great time. We in Cancun, we in Jamaica, we had a great time. Yeah. Listen, if I get into an accident tomorrow and I need to be fed and I need to have my diaper changed, you'll be able to do that for the rest of your life or no? And if not, I can't be mad at you.
Let's be real.
Yeah.
Let's be real. I love my mama. I love her.
Okay.
She took care of me. She made sure I was taken care of. But when I look back on my life and the things I've been through with her, I understand a lot of the things.
Yeah.
But me and my mom was rough.
Yeah.
But looking back and as an adult now and looking back at the things that she did to make sure I was straight.
Yeah.
Oh, I respect moms.
Okay.
To the T.
All right.
I respect moms to the T. Because no matter the case, no matter what I was doing, how I was wilding out here, the decisions I chose, she still made sure that I was well taken care of. But during when I was in my younger years, I couldn't admire nobody but my dad. I admired my dad because my dad was the guy that I could call on the phone. We didn't have that relationship where we were real close. I didn't see him every weekend.
Okay.
You know, we didn't have that split custody where I seen my dad a lot. My dad done some things when I was younger that now I look back and be like, dude.
He was wilding?
I didn't even see my dad.
Really?
Me and my dad were close based off a phone relationship.
Wow.
But I admired that because I was able to, you know how you talk to somebody and you ain't talked to them in a long time and they just dump all they load off on you?
Yeah.
I was able to dump my load off on him.
But moms was present, though.
And I didn't respect it at the time.
Shout out to moms.
Shout out to moms. I didn't respect it at the time. I respected dad more because he allowed me to dump whatever I was going through on him. And he's like, baby, it's going to be okay.
Okay.
You're going to get through this no matter what the case. He always supported me with that. But then he wasn't present.
Gotcha.
Right? So as the years go by and I get older and come into my adult world and my adult life, I start to realize that, damn, my mom was right about some shit about my pop.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
You know what I mean? Dude, like parts of my life where you should have been there, you weren't. Yeah. I was a part of the world of scorn. Mom seemed to be hated my dad.
Right.
So I'm like, why you hate my dad so much? He's a good guy. Dad is a good guy. What do you mean? And you don't understand that because all you see is dad only gives me good vibes.
Listen,
all the time.
Kids don't understand adult situations.
No, they don't.
As adults now, you're like, oh, wait. Pops was kind of doing mom dirty.
Yeah.
Like she made her a single mom.
Yes. Pops was on some.
That being the case, because you're right now, you're saying Pops was selfish.
Absolutely. Oh, you read that.
Why do you show up for him now? You didn't have anybody that was in your same age bracket that could help carry some of this load.
Right.
Yeah.
Nobody. A lot of family members just didn't really deal because he didn't deal.
And people don't forget.
People don't forget. So the people I would expect to step up and help out and look out, they like,
oh, man.
If the tables were turned, do I think your daddy would step up for me? No, I don't.
Yeah.
No, I don't. So everything he got coming, that's on him. I'm sorry, baby, but you next to kin.
So I'm going to ask you the question again because I felt like you didn't answer it. Mm-hmm. Why do you continue to show up?
Because he's my dad. I feel like I have to.
So I think...
Because who else is going to do it?
And that part I felt made us so relatable in that conversation where it was like, I don't know how the people that don't show up for their loved ones in those situations, I don't know how you sleep at night. I don't know how you look in the mirror and just be okay. Like, especially in a situation where you had a good parent, right? Mm-hmm. Like, how, like, I don't know. And then maybe it's, I just don't have the capacity to do it. You know, when my boy had kind of broke down that conversation, I was like, maybe I can understand that a little bit. I understand how it's hard to see people like that because it was hard to see my mom like that. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I mean, how do you not show up? You know what I mean? And that's where maybe we just have that gene in us where like we're built that way, which is
how do you not show up?
A gift and a curse because it's like it's a lot.
How do you not show up?
Right, it's a lot
for your parent.
So here's the thing for me, and because we are at two different stages. Like my mom passed a couple years back, and
rest in peace, moms.
Thank you. It was tough when it came down to like planning funeral services because now these same people that weren't present, everybody has an opinion when it's time to do burial services, when it's time to execute planning mortuary services, and you have this resentment because it's like, man, y'all could have been here when she was sick. Like, don't expect all this stuff now when like it's too late.
That's hard. That's all around the world. All around. This is a hard conversation because I feel like people do want to step up and they just don't know how. Because I
feel like it's an inconvenience. It comes down to, I know I could be there, but like it's an inconvenience for me.
For some people, I'm gonna say for some people because I'm gonna use this for example. My cousin just passed away. 2021, July 15th, and it was one of the hardest things I had to watch because we grew up together like brother and sister. Okay. I didn't have a sibling growing up. Right. He was my sibling. Gotcha. So if anybody asks me today, now did I have a brother? That's who I consider my brother.
Cousin brother.
That's my cousin brother. I don't care what nobody say. That's my guy. Yeah. You know, when Christmas came around, but when he got sick, with cancer, to watch him go through that, man. It was the hardest shit that I've ever had to go through. Even though my dad has a terminal illness. I love my dad. My dad is the reason why I'm on this earth. Right. But to see my boy, my bro, to go through that, oh my God. That shit did something to my soul that I just could not watch. Right. It was very hard for me to go and be with him. I would never forget one time I go up there, my auntie called me, and she said, hey, she said, you probably want to come up here. You probably want to come up here.
I know that phone call, yeah.
You probably want to come up here.
Yeah.
It wasn't it yet, but it was close.
Right.
She said, you probably want to get your time in. And I wanted to go, but deep down in my heart, I didn't want to go. Yeah. Like, I wanted to be there, but I did not want to be there. Yeah. But in that moment, when I know my auntie called, I know I got to make a move. And I'll never forget, I pulled up, and as soon as I walked in the room, he hopped up so fast and gave me a hug. Like,
you know what that did for him to see you walk in that room?
That shit just made my soul do something different, you know? And then, so I say all that to say is that some people do want to be there. Like, in my heart, I wanted to be there more. Shout out to my cousin Mark because he stepped up in ways that I would have never been able to do. He was there for my auntie the whole time.
I love that.
To the time my cousin transitioned, he was there. He stepped up for him. And that's just something I couldn't do. Yeah. You know, I wanted to do it. Everything in me wanted to be able to do that. Right. But I just couldn't. You know, it was just so hard. So to be able to to say, I'm sorry, just to say,
cool.
I'm probably a little emotional.
No, it's cool.
Some people do want to be
there, but it's hard.
It's very hard.
Or they don't have the capacity.
It's a capacity that you have to hold. That some things you just know, like somebody said, I could be a caretaker and some can't.
Listen. So that being said, then you don't want to have that conversation too late. So then there should be a conversation about life insurance.
Oh yes.
There should be a conversation about long-term care insurance. You know, whoever those individuals are that you have in your life that are working in that, like, reach out to those people. And then just for myself and even for yourself, I guess it's learning to let go of some resentment that you might be holding for family members that aren't there, because you don't know what they're capable of doing when those situations arise. And just be thankful for the ones that do show up.
Yeah.
Because it matters.
Yeah, it do.
It makes a difference.
Yeah, it do.
Yeah.
Yeah, it do.
Well, listen, I wish the best for Pops. I know it's going to be continued, like, struggle and journey. Listen, I appreciate you having me out again.
Absolutely.
I think this was amazing.
We're definitely doing this again.
We definitely got to do it again.
Yeah.
Definitely got to do it again.
Let us know if we need to turn this into a thing. If you got any questions for us, hit us up.
Listen and comment, engage, share. If you disagree with anything we said, I want to hear that too.
Yeah.
One of the big things that I'm on right now at this age is, like, unlearning a lot of the things that I learned and being open to, like, hearing other people's perspectives on things, because, like, I think it's dangerous to feel like you know everything. Yeah. No one should ever feel that way.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because the world's constantly evolving and we're constantly learning. So, yeah, absolutely. If there was anything that we said today that you feel like, no, you guys are looking at that wrong, holler at us.
Yeah.
But other than that, Sister C,
Brother Adam.
until next time.
Yes, sir.
Wait, let me get one of those little, no fingerprints. All right.
All right.